Hey, what is up, everybody? This is Stevie Breach coming to you here today. Was going to be sitting down to watch one of the craziest moments of WrestleMania history, and this one comes from WrestleMania 17. Something that honestly, when I bought the pay-per-view and was sitting down to watch WrestleMania 17, one of the things I was really excited for was the Gimmick Battle Royal. Didn't really know what to expect. It didn't really get a lot of on-screen, like they didn't bring people back to Raw or SmackDown to publicize it. Just every single time that they would, run down the card, they would put the picture up on the screen and they would just act like, like we were supposed to know what this was going to be. I honestly was really thinking that we were going to see some sort of a surprise. Why else would they be putting this Gimmick Battle Royal in there? I kind of honestly was hoping that this was the moment we were going to see a lot of returns of the WCW wrestlers that had come back to the WWF. Of course, as you know, the week before WrestleMania 17, we had the WCW sale, where WWF at the time bought WCW. And instead, as to announce the Gimmick Battle Royal, Mean Gene Okerlund as well as Bobby Heenan made their returns. That was the big return that we were going to get that night. Nobody else really came back, so it was just a lot of, I don't really understand what is going on. I fired up the WWE Network on Peacock. We have Mean Gene making his way down to the ring right now, and now they're naming Bobby Heenan. Heenan and Okerlund are going to take over on the announce desk for Paul Heyman and Jim Ross right here to give them a little bit of a break. This match fell on the card much like a Divas match would be, as kind of like the give the fans a little bit of a break during the show, whether they would to go to the bathroom or to the concession stand or something like that. This is coming on the back half of WrestleMania. You just had two banger matches. You had Shane going up against Vince McMahon. You also had Edge and Christian defeating the Dudley Boys and the Hardy Boys in TLC. This match is going to take place before The Undertaker versus Triple H, and then, of course, before the main event of Stone Cold Steve Austin and The Rock. First competitors making their way to the ring right here are the Bushwhackers. They're wearing new attire, not really WrestleMania attire. It's almost like Dusty Rhodes attire. Black with yellow. I don't really know the designs that are on there. They almost look like planets. I guess you can say. Okerlund and Heenan don't even get a proper seat at the desk. Okerlund's on the corner. You've got Heenan there. He's basically sitting in the aisleway between two tables. Duke the Dumpster Droese comes out. Doesn't even look like who he was when he was Duke the Dumpster Droese. I kind of remember him having hair at the time. Honestly, he could be anybody. I don't know if he was working concessions that night. Then we have the Iron Sheik making his way down to the ring. Really small steps as he makes his way down, waving the Iranian flag. Dude's belly is definitely huge. I'm not going to say that he isn't in shape. I'm sure the guy worked out until the day he died. But definitely past his prime. It's not even 1991 anymore. When he was working SummerSlam with the match made in heaven and the match made in hell, teaming up against Hogan and the Ultimate Warrior. Earthquake making his way down to the ring, not wearing the blue attire, kind of wearing the natural disasters attire, I guess you can say. I wonder where Typhoon was. If he wanted to play off on WCW, he could have came out as the Shockmaster for all we know. Here is the Goon. I got no idea where they, found him from. Earthquake right now, well, I think the Bushwhackers are probably the biggest name that you have in there. But definitely just a lot of guys that you don't really understand why they're in this. I mean, none of these guys are producers or anything like that. Here comes Doink. I'm not sure who's playing Doink. He's moving around a lot better than like the Brooklyn Brawler. I'm not really sure who is playing Doink. I'd have to try and look it up and honestly see. It doesn't look like it's Ray Apollo. Is that Tatanka? No, that's not Tatanka. I heard somebody screaming on the mic for the it's Kamala with Kimchi and Harvey Wimpleman. Kamala was definitely a big name. He's still moving around. He's still got 2 legs. So I mean, he definitely was a big name in wrestling. But I think at this point in what year was WrestleMania 17? Maybe like 2000? No, it had idiot. They had WrestleMania 2000. So this is 2001. I don't think anybody's looking for him. Here comes the Repo Man. So if the Repo Man can make his return to WrestleMania 17, why can't Demolition go into the Hall of Fame? Here comes Jim Cornette, who was working, backstage for WWE at the time on the writing team. I'm sure this is like a little bit of a bonus to pad his payday for WrestleMania because of the fact now he's featured on the show. I'm pretty sure that Nikolai Volkov comes out, but in a minute I'm pretty sure Brother Love comes out. Who's had wrestling matches on house shows back in the 80s. But I don't know any other reason why he would be added to this other than to give him the payday for a performance. And Volkov definitely looks like the oldest dude that's in there. And here comes Michael P.S. Hayes, another guy to add to it. Dude, that guy got a pop. Right there. I mean, I know that you think of Dallas when you think of him. They're in Houston, but he had his days down there running around. But at this point, I'm just looking at that ring. Like, whoever comes out last has to be a huge surprise. And what are they going to do? Just come down and Goldberg it and just, like, you kill these guys? We've got the one-man gang. I don't know when he made his last appearance. WrestleMania, him and Boss Man. Is that 7? Is it 6? I think that was shortly after that is when he left. Is after they broke them up and they had their WrestleMania match. And here comes the Gobbledygooker. I don't know who the heck this is either. Man, Gobbledygooker, probably one of the most given up on gimmicks of all time. You look at the people in the stands behind, like sitting front row, they don't understand what the hell's going on right now. I think most people have given up on this match and they're heading to the merch stand to buy that t-shirt. They're running up to the merch stand to get one more last beer or soda, hot dog to put her over the top to put them into the main event because they know Austin's coming soon. Oh, this is bad. And honestly, at this point, we're 9 minutes into this video of just making entrances. I think the whole match only lasts like 3 minutes. Here comes Tugboat. I'm talking about the natural disasters. I didn't think that he actually was in this match, but Ottman making his way down. Of course, Hulk Hogan's buddy back in the day. Would love to see him mix it up with Earthquake. I think, hold on, when is the Oddities? Oddities might be WrestleMania 14, so Earthquake's already, come back to the company. They had that, Hillbilly Jim. They had that Dark Side of the Ring on on Earthquake, where he was like selling suits, to make sure they kept getting paid. So I'm sure that he really enjoyed this payday. Of course, he has that one like house show match that you see sometimes on YouTube. That I don't think it was ever really to bring Earthquake back as a return. I think it was just to give him payday then too. And here comes Brother Love. Something to wrestle with himself. Man. I just can't believe that Brother Love is actually a character that people loved the hate. It doesn't make any sense to me then. I don't think I really know what was going on in the world with the televangelists and things like that. So I know that that's what he was going on. They used to have those guys like on every freaking channel begging for money, and they all ended up being scams in the end, pretty much, with all kinds of different. Sergeant Slaughter coming out. WrestleMania main eventer. I think he definitely is the biggest star in here. And as of right now, I think that if anybody, I think Sergeant Slaughter is the guy that needs to win this match. Just based off how big of a star he is. Mr. G.I. Joe himself. WWF champion. And they're going to the ring, so he must be the last one. He must be the last guy. They're not showing the entrance stage anymore. But, man, you look at the names I've just listed. Oh, they're fighting in there. So, I mean, man, this is just a big, like, what are we doing here kind of thing. Like, why did they call the Goon? Did they figure out that they, like, paid him for a show he didn't do and they got to bring him in? And they didn't have to pay him? Like, I don't understand how some of these got phone calls. And can you believe if you're like Nikolai Volkov and you get the call from Vince and he's like, hey, I need you to come in and do WrestleMania? Are you really thinking it's to do this gimmick battle royal? They're literally like dropping guys over the top and holding on to them until they hit the floor. No one's taken a bump. No one's really hit the ground. No one's even hit the ground at all. It's a lot of just standing there. This is like a house show battle royal from like an independent show. Earthquake takes a bump. He's out of there. He rolls over the top. Bodies are piling out of there. We still got about half of the guys in there. It looks like everybody's kind of standing around. Nobody wants to get eliminated that fast. Everybody's, probably already got their payday. And if you know you ain't winning, I would try to get dumped out of there as fast as you can. I know this match goes about 4 minutes, but it feels like it's going about forever because there's no action going on in there. Jim Cornette's getting worked over by the tennis racket. Him and Brother Love are working over the Goon in the corner, 2-on-1. There goes Cornette. Cornette's out of there. He just got eliminated. Doink's gonna dump the dumpster. This is just bad. We haven't seen anything close to a wrestling move yet. Can you imagine if somebody got hot in there that they got stiffed on something like that? Boom! There we go. Double headbutt. Bushwhacker working over the Goon. He seems to be the one guy I'm watching more than anybody else. We got the Iron Sheik working over Doink on the corner. Volkov just got dumped out of there. Hillbilly Jim is working it over with Doc Hendricks right there. Bushwhacker, can't tell which one, pretty much just eliminated himself. I think Doc Hendricks is asking announcers, or not announcers, but referees how long it is and how long he's got. But, there he goes. One-man gang just dumped him out. Kamala and the one-man gang. One-man gang is out of there. That's probably the biggest bump of the night, is him almost landing on his face. Slaughter runs over as Kamala is banging his belly, dumps him out. Now we got Cornette and Slaughter. Hillbilly Jim and the Iron Sheik is the final four. We got Hillbilly Jim and the Iron Sheik just kind of looking at each other. Oh, we're down to the final two. Iron Sheik is going to throw Hillbilly Jim over the top. Hillbilly Jim threw out Brother Love. Hillbilly Jim threw out Sergeant Slaughter. And the Iron Sheik is standing there It's almost like he didn't want to go over the top, and that's Slaughter's coming in. Boom! Now they're trading punches right there in the middle, and we got he locked it in. Oh, it looks like Slaughter's gonna win this one way or another. Gonna put the Sheik to sleep. Sheik's trying to fight it off, pulling. Oh, down to one knee. Oh, and he tosses him down. There you go. If I'm Slaughter, I just try to pin him. Right there. Two former WWF champions battling out in the ring, and Slaughter's acting like he won it. Doing the Hulkamania point to the year. He's number one. Man, that was on WrestleMania 17. That was one that people thought was going to be like... People think this is one of the greatest WrestleManias of all time. Heenan, he won't shake Oakland's hand. He keeps on putting it in there like he's going to do it and pulling it back, but there's no good in there. There's no good, there's no great. That was the Gimmick Battle Royal. I don't know how you make that better, but the only idea I had when I was sitting at home watching that, trying to think something was going to come of it, was I don't know if I thought Goldberg was going to come down and maul all those guys, if we were going to have, Hulk Hogan make his return. That might have been the best way to save it, honestly, in my mind, is if you had like a Hogan return. And Hogan returning on that show would have made it huge.